Et pour les gens qui parlent créole, ils vont dire nous en gros qui ça qui tombé. Et Vision 2000 talent Vinso, on connaît quoi après nous et n'a fait 2-3 mouvements. Donc ça c'est à chaud côté gagné information de Avocat et Guy Philippe qui c'est Zelka Bossanic avec Allen. Qui ont même expliqué dossier. Je déposé 2-3 questions et en résumé très rapidement, c'est pour qui ça Guy Philippe lui-même accepté changer et décision qui te dit qu'il n'est pas coupable, qu'on y a accepté de dire coupable. Bon, d'ailleurs, et Alain dit ça très clairement que les regards évidence que avocat et l'autre parti, avocat gouvernement bail, il voit que bon, c'est meilleure décision pour Guy Philippe lui-même lui plaider et coupable, comme ça que il est capable de passer moins de temps et dans la prison au lieu de plus de temps et dans la prison. Donc c'est les nous parler de 108 mois. Pas oublier que décision finale là pour qu'on prend. Et décision finale là, juge là pour qu'on prenne. Et l'IPRAL prend décision finale là et dans l'autre session. Donc ça c'est tant que yo prévoit qui capable que monsieur capable prendre. Ça capable de changer. Ça veut dire qui ça? Les gars doivent faire plus de temps. Les gens doivent faire moins de temps. Nous déposer avocat en question qui est extrêmement important, c'est qui futur, qui avenir Guy Philippe gagne. Et sur le plan politique en Haïti, après il y a un dossier comme ça parce que nous connaissons que Guy Philippe c'est un homme politique d'ailleurs il été élu sénateur en Haïti qui avenir que le gagne. Et avocat dit très clairement que parce que avocat gouvernement décidé retirer charge. Attendez bien ça me va dire, les retirer charge qui dit que Guy Philippe pas gagné pour avec drogue, il pas transporter drogue aux États-Unis. Donc gagner une possibilité que monsieur lui-même est capable et courir encore comme bon pour n'importe position que le voulait etc. D'après ça que eux-mêmes pensé. C'est vrai que yo pas connaît très bien détaillé sur loi en Haïti qui sa loi en Haïti dit. Donc c'est juste des spéculations. On nous parlait de 2-3 bagailles dans le dossier que je pense que nous-mêmes, en film, on a demandé là et que va profiter pour nous. Nous devons nous là et à chaud. C'est d'abord attitude Guy Philippe l'arrivée en dedans et comparativement au monde qui est toujours souriant, qui toujours et qui est content. Donc Guy Philippe te paraît beaucoup plus serein et peu souriant. Et comparativement à l'autre façon que le paraît l'elfin signe un document et ben combat qui est extrêmement important non et me plaît pas nous très bien parce que va gain document non même tout à l'heure avant que l'autre monde gagne li et c'est paragraphe 13 là. Paragraphe 13 là dit que après Guy Philippe fin signer un papier ça li bail tout droit que le te gagné pour le pas capable aller dans un jugement en cours. Ça veut dire il n'est pas capable de prendre décision ça après ça pour le changer pour le dire que bon et me prendre décision me dit ça et par rapport à nombre de temps que nous décider bon dans prison me décider changer pour moins de temps. Donc monsieur pas qu'à faire ça. Donc depuis le signer papier ça il tout bail et tout droit ça. Il y a un bagage pour nous comprendre dans le dossier ça qui est extrêmement important. C'est qui Jean gouvernement américain changer tout la façon que il était prévoir pour et jugement ça a été fait. Jugement Guy Philippe là. Il a dit que et d'ailleurs Lynn Kirk t'a dit que yo même yo pralé full dans dossier. Yo pralé full dans dossier pour yo prendre et Guy Philippe maximum de temps qui possible, yo pral découvrir toute roche pour regarder tout ça qui en bas tout roche. On regarder est-ce que c'est ça qui fait. Dans le paragraphe 7 là, gouvernement américain et l'autre parti a décidé de coopérer avec avocat et Guy Philippe pour yo bailler Guy Philippe minimum temps. Là nous dit minimum ça veut dire qui allait à 108 mois au moins. 108 mois au moins. Donc c'est un aspect qui est extrêmement important et on peut comprendre que me poser question ça à Patrick à Allen pardon, me poser question ça à Zelka Bossanic, c'est en termes de coopération. Pas oublier que le dossier qui comme ça gagne en pile coopération qu'on capable faire, ça veut dire qu'il y a des informations qu'on capable bail qui pour réduire temps. Talema Vinso Vision 2000, moment délit et pour lui parler de ça. Il dit que dans le contrat pas rien qui dit que faut gagner l'autre forme de coopération qui doit faire. Ça veut dire que Guy Philippe pas pas gagner aucune obligation pour lui-même coopérer encore beaucoup plus. C'est-à-dire bien beaucoup plus dans dossier ça. Et avocat et juge la main de Guy Philippe, une question qui est extrêmement importante que je pense que nous devons connaître. Juge la main de Guy Philippe, est-ce que dans 24 heures de temps qui sont passés, est-ce que tu prends drogue? Est-ce que mentalement ou bien problème? Est-ce que il y a des gens qui te forcé pour te prendre une telle décision? Est-ce que il y a des gens qui influencent qui promettent ou qui font des promesses pour être capable de prendre une telle décision? Guy Philippe dit non. Toute réponse Guy Philippe aujourd'hui c'était no your honor, yes your honor. En bon créole, et oui madame, non madame. Guy Philippe qui t'a parlé avec un pile souplesse, Guy Philippe qui t'a parlé avec un pile m'a cherché mot créole là. He was very polite. C'est un monde qui était très gentil, bon voilà, très docile, qui t'a parlé avec juge là et bien évidemment avec conseil avocat tout qui yo même qui t'a dit mais qui ça pour dire mais qui ça pour ou même ou pas dit. Gagné yon l'autre document que avocat Guy Philippe là fait une copie là-dedans que avocat gouvernement remet Guy Philippe. Lire les factual proper document. The factual proper document là the factual proper document là il dit qui ça? Il dit que de 1990 cocaïne sorti aux États et sorti en Haïti pour entrer aux États-Unis et spécialement Miami. Il était utilisé, attendez bien que Guy Philippe était utilisé des positions comme policier pour être capable d'aider faciliter pour être capable d'aider faciliter cargaison et drogue passer en Haïti pour capable arriver ici aux États-Unis. Il dit que depuis le mois de juin 1989 jusqu'à avril 1999, lui-même avec l'autre monde, il était recevoir l'argent pour faciliter ça. On a parlé de drogue. Avocat et gouvernement avec avocat Guy Philippe joignent entente. Attendez bien ça pour ne pas courir et par l'empire de joignent entente que en dépit de ça que yo montré que yo fait comprendre que yo pas assez évidence pour backup ça pour prouver ça. Donc Charles ça mon cœur là li annulé. Donc Guy Philippe Konya là li accepté plaider coupable pour l'argent et 1,5 million de dollars que les dégâts soit 40 li même avec madame ici que il pas qu'à prouver que qui côté l'argent ça li sorti effectivement et pas oublier que Guy Philippe admet ça dans le document que l'argent ça a été utilisé pour acheter un caille ici dans état Floride là dans Broward spécialement et l'argent ça tout il était utilisé pour être capable de prendre soin de 30 000. Le bagage qui est important dans l'argent ça, attendez bien, l'argent ça il était utilisé pour te payer quelques policiers, hein, pour te payer quelques policiers avec des officiels du gouvernement haïtien. Avec des officiels du gouvernement haïtien. Donc, il était utilisé l'argent pour te payer utilisé avec des officiels du gouvernement haïtien. Donc, je pense que c'est un bagage qui est extrêmement important que nous-mêmes et nous te doués et qu'on est dans le dossier ça. Bon, et il faut que nous fassions pour l'autre étape. Et c'est sûr que nous continuons et couvrir et dossier ça pour de très près pour nous capables de connaître et tout détail. Tout ça qui passait là-dedans. Donc, restez branchés, développez nos informations à chaud pour nous-mêmes, nous capables de connaître de très près de qui ça qui fait aujourd'hui. Donc, rendez-vous, c'est pour le mois de juillet. C'est un mois de juillet que juge là lui-même, il prend le bail, décision finale sur combien de temps effectivement que Guy Philippe lui-même l'a gagné pour lui passer dans la prison. You park right there? Oh, I'm right there too, yeah. So, alright guys, branchez qu'on y a Radio Vision 2000 et sur Vision 2000 qu'on y a là pour parler de ça. We have almost 2,000, 1,300 still in here, waiting. I'm still with
I just want to say one thing actually. I'm hoping that all the supporters of Guy Philippe do not get down. This is not a negative thing. At the end of the day, I understand a lot of people are probably disappointed. And let's get in the shade. A lot of people may be disappointed. However, the legal system is not always what you imagine it to be, and I think that in the long run, having Mr. Philippe go to trial and, God forbid, get convicted and get life in this case would be devastating to a lot of people, devastating to us, devastating to him, to his family, and when there's a plea offer on the table that involves dropping the drug trafficking and minimizing that exposure, it was a hard decision, but it was a decision that needed to be made. And at the end of the day, having bank records from 1999 and getting those records, it was difficult. And I can't go into all the details of this case at this point. Obviously it's still an open case. And there's
Is that means, so obviously he has nothing to do with drug trafficking in Haiti?
I don't want to comment on those things right now, and you know me, I always kind of stay away from commenting on facts, but I just don't want people to get down. I know that it was a hard decision for us, it was a hard decision for Mr. Philippe, and it was one of those difficult decisions that had to be made. I wish I could tell you and spill the beans and tell you everything and, we'll win in the thought process, but it is what it is. I think we're hoping that he will end up with a sentence that we recommended to the court, and we're hoping that, he ends up serving some of that time. Obviously, there are credits that you get when you're in prison. You don't do 100% of your sentence. And he will still be a young person when he gets out, and that's a guarantee. Going to trial is not a guarantee. You never know what happens in trial. And at the end of the day, if you get convicted in trial and you get a life sentence, then all you can do is file motions and appeals. But there are a lot of people in prison sitting there and they're serving their life sentence.
Do you have the feeling that it's a good hope in a sense that he's not being charged for the second charges, which is the drug trafficking, so not only the money laundering, we're talking about 108 days. Do you feel that it's a win in a way?
Well, of course, anytime you have a client pleading to money laundering as opposed to drug trafficking, it's a win, because drug trafficking carries a maximum life sentence and money laundering doesn't. And the guidelines kind of change a little bit. There are a lot of factors that go into it based on the sentencing guidelines. So it is a win to me, speaking as a lawyer. It may not be a win to
the family,
other people. It may not be a win to the people who support Mr. Philippe, because they're probably wondering what happened. And all I can say is it is a hard decision to go to trial, knowing that there are 12 people from this community here in Miami who have to make a decision, and that had a lot to do with his decision to plead guilty. So
we'll definitely have a sit-down interview, so we'll talk more about it. But I wanted you guys to have it first. Obviously you wanted to have the right information, not the speculation. Nous devons que nous-mêmes nous gagnons information yo. Yes, nous devons que nous-mêmes nous gagnons information yo. D'abord, au lieu que nous prenions information dans mes mondes, ou du moins des informations qui pas vérifiées et sous dossier. Donc, alright guys, I got a roll. Faut que moi aller qu'on y a là, m'bral parler sur Radio Vision 2000 sur en Haïti branché Vision 2000 qu'on y a grand pilote d'informations que m'bral partager avec nous. Ou du moins un peu plus tard, que nous capable de partager l'autre information avec nous. Nous devons que nous-mêmes nous gagnons information yo, parce que nous connaissons nous couvrir un dossier. Nous couvrons le dossier à lui-même de façon professionnelle et claire. Alright, so guys, as I'm talking about with you right now, so I have the honor to have the lawyers with me. Ms. El Cabosanic, thank you so much for being here. This is it. Now the decision has made. What is your first reaction?
We believe it was a good result for Mr. Philippe, and hopefully everything works out before the sentencing. We're hoping that the government, that everything goes according to the plea agreement and the drug trafficking charge gets dismissed, and that was the goal. He pleaded guilty to 1 count, money laundering, and at the sentencing they will dismiss the drug trafficking.
So that was the agreement with you and the other party, with Lynn Kirk. Is she agree with that? Was that going to happen with the government?
Yes, it's in the plea agreement.
So obviously he will be charged. He's guilty officially only for the money laundering.
Yes.
And which is a sentence of 108 months.
The plea agreement calls for a stipulation between the defense and the government for 108 months. It's up to the judge what she wants to sentence him to.
I would love to have your first reaction to what made you and Alan is here with us
Alan,
as well.
come.
Alan, you two decided to change your mind. I know that throughout the first starting of the case, there was the idea that we're gonna go all the way to a trial. We know that we're gonna have enough evidence. What made that switch? First Alan and then
after we had an opportunity to really go through the discovery, to really put a fine point on our pencils and see what the evidence was and whether or not certain aspects of the case could be corroborated by other evidence. It struck us and ultimately the client that it was in his best interest, given the parameters that we were talking about, and that is a money laundering plea, with the type of guideline that the government has agreed to in the case, would be a safer and more appropriate resolution than really risking all and proceeding to trial.
Throughout the agreement, several paragraphs talk about excessive deposit of money through that account that he has with his wife in Miami, less than $10,000 per transaction, level to $1.5 million. Was it that first evidence you say, whoa, there's no way we're gonna fight that, we have to find a deal?
I think it fairly said, I think Zolka would agree, that evidence was particularly compelling. Testimony, people can come in and say whatever they want to say, but certain facts and certain evidence comes in a way that is more compelling, and certainly the fact that deposits in certain amounts at certain times were made, we found particularly persuasive in making our decision.
One very important issue with that is throughout the agreement, it says that Mr. Philippe used that money to buy a house in Broward to take care of his family, but most importantly, he shared the money with police officers in Haiti and also some officials of the government.
I think that, on further issues that are in that plea agreement and the factual proffer, we are not going to discuss those until the sentencing, and there are legal reasons why we shouldn't discuss those. It is what it is. You will see the documents, I'm sure, as everybody else gets the documents as soon as they get filed. At this point, all we can say is that it was in the best interest of the client, and it was a great success and victory in a way to get the government to agree to dismiss the drug trafficking charge and have him plead only to money laundering. And this case is also very old and involves very old bank records, and when we deal with these type of cases, we have to examine whether we can go and build our defense and get the bank records from 1999. And there were a lot of factors that made us make this decision and recommend to our clients that he does plead guilty to that money laundering count.
Ms. Cabosanic, as you know, Mr. Philippe is a very influential person in Haiti. He was unanimously, elected as a senator in Haiti. The question is his future in politics. Will he still be able, after serving his term in Haiti, be able to go back to Haiti and run again?
Well, Mr. Philippe is a very liked person. He's a great person. He has a great personality. And I think that depends on the Haitian laws. The American laws have nothing to do with that, so I can't really speak on those. But I can tell you this, one of the reasons why he took a plea was because he will still be fairly young when he gets out of this. He will not serve life in prison, as if he would have had the jury in Miami convicted him of drug trafficking. And he's a very, very smart guy, and I wish him good luck in politics, and I hope that he does run again, and I hope that he's able to run again, and I believe that he will still have support from a lot of people despite what happened here. And I believe people will be able to understand much more at some later time. I think it's premature to talk about that right now.
Yeah.
And
he does have a lot of supporters in Haiti who've been professing his innocence, and they've been having demonstrations almost on a weekly basis. What do you say to them? Because some of them are disappointed. They were sort of gearing up for trial and thinking, that he would be able to walk out.
What I say to them is, client who's facing life in prison make a decision as to what to do. And when there's an offer that dismisses a drug trafficking count that has him plead to money laundering, and his exposure is minimized, and it is more likely that he will get a sentence under a certain number, and I don't want to talk numbers right now because obviously it's up to the judge. What I say is sometimes it's in the best interest of the client to make such a decision, and I understand that there are different parties in Haiti. Some people do not like him because he belongs to a certain party, and I also think that certain people talk against him because they're in a different party. So politics aside, if this was a client who was not a politician, everybody would agree with me that this is in the best case, in the best interest of the client. The fact that Mr. Philippe is a politician, and there are a lot of people in Haiti who like him for that reason, and there are a lot of people also who don't like him for that reason, and talk on the internet against him because he belongs to a certain party. Well, we need to set that aside and think about the facts of this case and the facts of what would actually happen in trial.
Alan, when you joined the case, obviously there was a hope that because of your career, of what you've been doing and fighting on cases, there was a feeling of hope that, well, the fight is not going to end soon. Obviously, we see something totally different. You're a fighter, 108 months. Are you confident that this is the time that he will spend, or it will be less? And what is your strategy?
Well, it's not. I have no prognosis about what the sentence is going to be. I mean, we have an agreement.
Well, at least at the minimum.
Well, we have an agreement with the government. We have a judge who is very fair-minded, and the judge will find her way to impose an appropriate sentence in the case, and we're all very confident about that. But one of the questions asked were, what do you say to the people in Haiti who are disappointed because there was a plea in the case rather than a trial that they were all supporting? And in a way, very much so, both of us share some of that disappointment, because it was the case that I was invited to the dance to go to trial in the case. And it just didn't work out. It's the way the evidence goes, and we responded accordingly.
There's something, I know that they are kicking us, there's something really important that I want to talk about with you is a key word in that case. It's cooperation, right? We know that if you cooperate, or if you at least work with the government at a level...
There's no cooperation in this agreement.
There's no such thing in cooperation.
This agreement, it does not contemplate that type of assistance to the government.
So obviously it's the money laundering, and then as soon as he will serve his sentence, there's no back channel with that, meaning he cannot be charged a second time for the same crime, even though he's not a U.S. citizen. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Double jeopardy still applies. You cannot charge somebody the same crime twice because of double jeopardy, and it applies to whether you're a citizen or not.
Will that also be the same figure for Haiti? So he won't be able to be charged for the same crime in Haiti? Or I'm speculating in that. Obviously not a Haitian lawyer.
Right.
Exactly.
Nor are we.
Yeah.
And we don't speculate about that.
Yeah. So obviously we know that it's a very long process. We'll keep you posted. But thank you so much, both of you, for giving us that interview, and also clarify our viewers on what's happening, what is the decision, and what does that mean for him and also for his family as well in that case. Thank you so much, Alan, and thank you, Ms. Zakabosani. Thank you. Well, that was the two main lawyers for Guey Philippe.